Hi, it's Grace Gooley with another episode of Around the Ozarks Community Corner. And something that could easily be overlooked in our community is children who are experiencing grief. And November is Children's Grief Awareness Month, and our friends at Lost and Found Grief Center are really focusing on that this month. So with me today, I have Melanie Blair, who is the Assistant Executive Director, and I have Mark Miller, who is the Executive Director at Lost and Found. So thank you guys for joining me today.
Grace, thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. So first, let's talk about Lost and Found. Like, who are you guys? What do you do? How can families just reach out to you, be a part of Lost and Found?
Sure. We are a comprehensive grief support center. We were founded in 2000 by Dr. Karen Scott and attorney Sean Askinosi. So Sean lost his father when he was a teenager, and Dr. Scott was the head of counseling for Springfield Public Schools, and she saw how devastating it could be for a family, especially children, who would lose a parent or sibling while they're a child, essentially. So they founded Lost and Found in 2000, started with one group for children and one group for caregivers, and that was in Sean's law office. And now, 25 years later, we have more than 20 groups. And the big thing that I always try to emphasize is that we are professional therapeutic grief support, no cost to the families we serve. And the other key is it's professional because all of our, what we call them, group coordinators are like Melanie, and they have a master's degree in psychology, counseling, or something like that.
Side note about Sean, we have a podcast called The Real Deal Conversations, and one of the first episodes was with Sean, and he talked about how he founded Lost and Found. So if anybody wants to know about that, go there, because Sean tells his entire story, and it's incredible. Like, it's crazy what he went through.
And child.
Yes, it's crazy. So if anyone wants to know about Sean, we do have an episode about that. But I want to talk about how grief isn't just an adult issue. What does it look like in Missouri and nationally for children experiencing grief?
Yeah, what we know in Missouri is 1 in 10 children by the age of 18 will have experienced the death of a sibling or a parent. That's pretty staggering.
Yeah, it is.
Nationally, it's 1 in 11 children. And so you can see the need here in Missouri is a little bit greater.
Absolutely. November is designated as Children's Grief Awareness Month. What does that exactly mean for our community and for Lost and Found here in Springfield and in the Ozarks?
Well, here's the thing. Nobody really wants to talk about grief, right? It's sad. People don't know what to say. But, we talk about in Missouri, that 1 in 10, a number on that is there's more than 100,000 children will lose a parent or sibling before they turn the age of 18, right? So Children's Grief Awareness Month, that's a national month recognized by the National Alliance for Children's Grief. And you just want to draw attention to these children and just stand in solidarity with them and to make sure that they know they're seen and they're not alone. And Melanie can kind of tell us, it's pretty staggering if there isn't some kind of intervention, if there isn't some kind of grief support, it doesn't go well a lot of times for the kids.
Yeah, sure. 1 in 4 children, what was it, that experience
suicide, who died by suicide.
They'll die by suicide, because they're this 1 in 10 before the age of 18. And I think what's really important is just having these interventions and having such a thing in our own community, which is not common in a lot of communities, allows for us to kind of intervene in these really critical times, very developmental times of children's lives, where we're able to provide a level of support to them, and in hopes what we do for them is continue to allow for them to be productive people in our society. If we don't intervene, if we don't provide support, death by suicide can happen, substance misuse, just a lot of really additional hardships for children.
Yeah. And I have a little bit of a personal connection. I've never been to Lost and Found or had that experience, but my best friend from high school, she lost her husband, and they did have they do have young children. So I believe her daughters were like 6 and 8. And so she actually was at Lost and Found. So I know firsthand in that sense of like all the help that you guys are bringing, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that.
Both of us have personal connection to Lost and Found, both also participants there after our children, Mark's son Luke and my son Charlie died. And my children were 5 at the time. I had 5-year-old twins at the time that Charlie died. And although they didn't attend Lost and Found themselves, what Lost and Found did was equip me with the tools. Even though I was a counselor by trade, I wasn't functioning at that level. It just really equipped me with additional education and tools, and allowed for me to show up differently as a parent for my surviving children.
I mean, and that's one thing we focus on, Children's Grief Awareness Month. But if a family loses, if a child loses a sibling or a parent, the other parent is grieving, or both parents if they lost the child's sibling. And it not only helps the children, but it helps the parents get through it. And one of the things I think we talk about a lot is, Melanie and I have never moved on from our grief. Melanie hasn't moved on from losing Charlie. I haven't moved on from losing Luke. But we have learned how to process our grief. And we can move forward in our lives and move forward with hope in a lot of ways because of the services we received at Lost and Found Grief Center.
Yeah, it's amazing. So during the Awareness Month, you guys are encouraging schools, businesses, and individuals to participate. So what are some of the ways that the community can do that? How can they get involved?
Really easy way is on Thursdays throughout Children's Grief Awareness Month, wear blue. We just want to stand in solidarity and let grieving children know and their families know, hey, you are seen and we are here for you, and we are a grief-informed community. That's one big way. But we're also going to have food trucks on our campus at 1555 South Glenstone. So come grab lunch on Thursdays.
Food trucks are always great.
They are. Come from 11 to 2. We get a little 10% comes back to Lost and Found. But if you want to come in to the building and take a tour and just see where it is that we do what we do, you can come in and check it out as well.
Yeah.
Also in November 21st and 22nd, our friends at Kendra Scott have been gracious enough to do a program for us. So if you buy online or in store on those 2 days, then we'll get a portion of those sales.
That is amazing.
Lost and Found as well.
That is amazing.
And one thing is we are able to offer our therapeutic grief support groups at no cost because of the generosity of our donors. We are almost 100% donor funded, right? And so if somebody does want to make a difference and they're thinking about an end of year gift or anything like that, you can always make a donation at lostandfoundozarks.com.
Absolutely. Awesome. So if anybody is wanting to get involved, I know you just mentioned where you can donate online. What is the simplest first step that someone can take? Like whether you're one of the parents or the teachers or however, like what's the easiest first step to get involved?
I think the least invasive way to get in touch with us if you're needing to access our services is through our website. So lostandfoundozarks.com. You can fill out a website submission that will come directly to the program staff. We'll review it. We will contact you at that time and we'll do an intake over the phone, gather some information, and figure out which service is right for you. And when I say that, something that we haven't mentioned, which is fee-based, is we also offer individual counseling in addition to the therapeutic grief support groups.
Okay.
And so we'll navigate that conversation when individuals call. They're also welcome to call us at 417-865-9998, and they will probably be greeted by Laura, who is the sweetest, kindest, most gentlest human, who will take down the same information that you would fill out online and get it back to the program staff, and then we will reach out within 24 to 48 hours. So pretty simple process to get in touch with us.
And then those intake phone calls can take 15, 30, sometimes 45 minutes with a grieving family. Usually it's a parent, and you talk to them and really get a feel for their family, who died, how the loss has affected them, and then we will get them placed in the right group. And then if it's a family, they will come in and do an orientation. That's where they'll get to check out the space, kind of learn how groups are going to work. And Melanie, do you want to talk about, we do a lot of talk therapy, but a lot of art therapy, just what goes on in the groups?
Yeah, sure. I mean, memory making is a big component of what we're doing. We serve ages 4 to into their 90s, but especially in those children's groups, talk therapy is not quite what they need to be doing. Their attention span isn't quite like an adult.
Absolutely.
They don't sit in it the same way, but we get to talk about their person and share stories and memories, and we do a lot of art activities or a lot of reading of books and educating, and so it's kind of subconsciously we're navigating this topic of grief and teaching them about the feelings that they're experiencing within their body, and we're normalizing that. And I think that that's one of the greatest things that we do for people, is that when we start to experience things that we've never experienced before, we feel really out of control. And so we're able to normalize that and create a safe space. And it's always kind of interesting for me to talk to families and kids to say they have fun there, because grief is such a heavy, sad topic, and what they're dealing with is so oftentimes tragic. For them to say it's fun too means a lot. So we end every group with children with play, because we know that play is children's language. So
yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you have toys, and we have a volcano room where it has punching bags, and the little boys, they will hit the. But you can imagine kids, especially little boys, might have some anger after losing a parent, losing a sibling. But they go in there and they hit the bag and they hit the big stuffed animals. But that's for how a participant can get involved. Just contact us, and there is a process. It's a very thoughtful process. For people who maybe aren't experiencing grief at the time, they can get involved through volunteering. We have a lot of events. We have sororities, fraternities come in sometimes, clean, do things like that. We do have, but the events, like we have a run in May, we have a big gala in January. Sometimes you can come in and just volunteer. You know how to run. We need people, hey, go this way, hand out water, stuff like that. It's a good way. With groups, we do have greeters, so people can just greet people as they come in, have them fill out the roster, get name tags and things like that. And then we do have people who aren't professionals. We call them facilitators, but they do go through a 2-day training we have every August. I equate them to like teacher's aides. They help people like Melanie, who's a professional, just especially with kids, just kind of corral the kids, help with the art projects, but they are trained in grief. It's a 2-night training. And I went through it. And it's just beneficial to go through it. So everybody who's in group is either professional or has gone through training, or both.
Yeah, that's great.
In a lot of ways,
that's
yeah.
Great. If you would like to join in the efforts for Children's Grief Awareness Month with Lost and Found Grief Center, you can do that by wearing blue on Thursdays this month. You can purchase a blue shirt from Lost and Found Grief Center. Or if you are experiencing a loss, or you want to donate or find out how to volunteer, just go to lostandfoundozarks.com. Melanie and Mark, thank you very much for joining me today.
Grace, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.